Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. And boy, do I have a doozy for you guys today. I have 2 jugs of water, and I am going to the lot to get oil and a jump box. Why? Because this purchase was a very, very bad purchase. Why, you might ask? Well, take a look at this. What do you see? What do you think? Yeah, I placed a bid on the car, and then went back and looked at it, and I said, oh, okay. Probably should have read that before I placed the bid. Good thing is, I'm only $315 into it. Didn't see it, haven't heard it run. I have no details on it. But what I know is, going to the bank right now, getting the money out, going to the lot, getting oil, jump box. We are going to Manheim. Well guys, are you ready to join my adventure? So today's auction day. I tried to buy a few units. I was actually, unfortunately, highest bidder on only one, and it looks like they did not release it to me. So as you guys can see, pretty full lot, and I got nothing. But this one I got through OVE, and the seller was Vroom. It's an up and up company. So the vehicle isn't even parked here. It's parked somewhere on the side. So I get to do a lot of walking. Although I have oil, jump box, all the good stuff, I didn't take anything with me because I wanted to pay for the vehicle and then find it. So I'm not walking around with both hands full with random stuff. So that's kind of the plan. Is first find it, see if it starts on its own, more or less prep myself for what it needs, and then go from there. But get to look at a whole bunch of stuff. Nice beautiful Mercedes hardtop convertible. Ooh, nice Porsche. There's a TTS, another Porsche. So these are Carvana cars. I'm looking for an old 1999 Ford Explorer. Nice yellow S3. And I think it's a dark green color. So I will keep looking, and once I find it, we will take a look at it together. I have been directed literally opposite corner, essentially all the way to the back. So now I'm starting to see a whole bunch of, oh, I think I see it. I think I just saw it. I think this is mine. Okay, so I will be able to get it out. 403. Let's make sure our tires are good. Well, this is mine. So this is Eddie Bauer. So it's actually a very nice high trim option. But as you guys can see, it's pretty rough. I mean, dents here and there. But anyways, that's like the last concern with this one. Where's our hood release lever? Right here. There we go. And these things are actually pretty nice, and they sell very well as long as they don't have issues. Oh, you even got hood struts that more or less hold ish. Okay, so showed that there's no coolant. Yep, that's why we have the water. There we go. Slide that back under there. Oh boy. So I mean, it's filthy, but honestly, I don't see any like crazy pitted oil leaks. So actually, maybe down there, but it's so hard to see. So I have a white napkin. Let's see what the level is. We are at the top of the level. Yeah, we are at the top, and actually, sorry, I'm holding it underneath my armpit. I will show you guys the level right now, or not the level. That oil is fresh. So what's the other thing we want to check? power steering. Yep, looks like we have power steering fluid. Seems like this thing was off-roaded or somewhere at a farm, or I don't know. So actually, next step, let's see if it'll start. Because if it starts, I could pull it out and then put water into it in order to get it home. Okay, and it did say loud grinding noise, that we have no heat, and so on and so forth. But guys, she started. So I am going to try to pull it out. It says door open. Which door is open? Maybe rear passenger door? I don't know. I will pull it out and then try that. But I do hear the grinding sound. I honestly thought it would be a lot worse than it is. So far, I'm actually not disappointed. I was honestly expecting the grinding noise to be like internal mechanical damage, because I was thinking, okay, it's leaking oil, it's leaking coolant, maybe someone overheated it, blah blah blah. Basically, worst case scenario is what I was thinking. So I was really expecting a complete and total dump with this car, and to my surprise, it's not that bad. And I told my wife, I was like, look, I made a really bad purchase, but it wasn't an expensive purchase, essentially not a crazy lot of money invested into it. And we are going to Arizona in a few months, so I told her, look, whatever I get out of this car would just be kind of extra money to, I guess, burn in Arizona. So the way it's actually running, at the very least, I think $700-800 bucks is more than fair, because mileage is right under 130,000. Oh, look at that Jeep right there. So mileage isn't bad. It's Eddie Bauer's 4x4. It has power options, and it's actually fairly clean. Honestly, I wouldn't even take it through the detail. It's that clean. But let me pull it out and we'll take another look. We'll add some water to the system and kind of go from there. And I have just water with me because I figured, again, worst case scenario, and I thought I'm not putting coolant in it. This is more or less like just take it somewhere, maybe dump it at the auction, or at least take it to the lot so I don't waste any coolant, and so on and so forth. But look, it didn't even take that much. Alrighty, well, actually, I am going to leave it like that. I am going to start it again. So squeezing the hoses from the radiator. I don't really feel like there's coolant in there, and this isn't moving. So yes, we probably do have an issue somewhere. Hopefully it starts again, second time. There we go. Nope. Oh, come on. Well, that's disappointing because I just literally pulled it out. So now, what if this is internal? The grinding? No, but even then, it doesn't sound like it's internal. Almost sounds like, I don't know, a fan or a pulley or something along those lines. Yeah, I could see the belt moving back and forth, so it's almost like a bent pulley on the fan. That's probably rubbing up against the fan housing. But anywho, we have water. Let's try to make the journey back to my lot. Now, the question that interests me, one, how's the transmission? In theory, at this mileage, transmission should be good, but so should the engine. So, you know, it might not be good. But so far, we are shifting gears just fine. The other thing of concern is, of course, the temperature gauge. I don't want to overheat it. I don't want to blow anything. But so far, guys, I'm gonna tell you, I'm not as disappointed as I totally thought that I would be coming here. So we even have power mirrors, which work. Not a bad rig for what it is. So I think the symptoms were made out to be worse than they actually were. But it runs. So hopefully with no issues, I'll make it to the lot and then we could take another look at this thing.
A few minutes later.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we do have bad news. Our temperature gauge is climbing and I don't have heat through the vents. So I am very much assuming that either water pump is out on this thing or something along those lines. So I am looking for a place to kind of possibly pull off to the side. Yeah, just so that we don't, you know, cause any unnecessary damage. But man, we are so close to the lot, like literally 2 miles away. So I am trying to risk it because I did a quarter mile and it's not going up. We are on a red light. Temperature is not going up. I do see some smoke from underneath the car. Definitely smell maybe a little bit of oil burning and whatnot, but temperature is not increasing. Loud ram next to me. Yeah, going to the lot. If it doesn't jump up too high, I am going to the lot until the end. Well, my temperature went up like up to here and now it dropped. So I'm thinking maybe thermostat. There it goes, trying to climb. But I did make it to the lot. With it fully kind of warmed up, I do want to see what's going on under here. Yeah, we are boiling. So our cooling system is boiling. I don't know if you guys will see that slight smoke. And it did seem like we are dripping just a little bit there. And yeah, we have smoke from this side. So I am going to back it up. And park it. Oh yeah, smoky, smoky. Now, question for you guys. Is this Mercury 2.0? Look at that from the front underneath the hood. Oh yeah, she is steamy. So, definitely a coolant issue. I thought I saw stuff dripping at the bottom, but I don't. So it looks like that's probably oil right there in the center. Yeah, that's most likely oil dripping. And then we have a cooling issue. And then the noise. So of course, I think logically, in order to figure any of this out, a mechanic will have to look at it. And just, I guess not just look at it, but actually lift it up on a lift, take a look where it's leaking underneath and so on and so forth. I am curious, if I list it for $700-800, can I sell it? As is. Is that doable? I suppose the question needs to be answered, what are the pros and what are the cons of selling it like this? Pros are, I don't waste any money. I don't waste anyone's time, in the sense of my mechanics, to come out and look at it, I guess diagnose it, and hopefully I make a quick profit, a few $100s, nothing crazy. The cons are, every time I sell a cheap car, I get cheap buyers. Cheap buyers that don't know how to read the ad. Like the Mercury, I've had so many phone calls. I have had people schedule appointments to come look at the car. And in the ad, I put everything I know about the car. Basically, it has issues. Multiple times I have posted that it is a mechanic special. And I posted, yes, it runs and drives, but highly recommend you bring a trailer to tow it. It is not safe to drive it, basically. And I've had multiple people schedule an appointment. I ask them, hey, Did you read the ad? Yeah, I read the ad. And then the day of, they're like, okay, I'm about to catch my bus or Uber or whatever. And I'm like, I highly recommend you bring a trailer. Wait, why? Why do I need a trailer? I was like, did you read the ad? Yeah, but what is it? So although, I guess there are pros to selling it as is, there are cons, because I have sold a handful of vehicles like this already, and you just get very, very bad clientele. But I guess once I do sell the car, I'm very happy. That's why I keep doing it again and again. But that's something for me to decide. I guess for now we will pause this video and resume either with a mechanic or I don't know. But that's the Ford.
Much later.
It is a cold morning. I feel like it's 40 degrees. But I made a decision about the Ford. It's actually been about a week and a half since the last clip. I made the decision a lot sooner, but my mechanic has been quite busy and he was unable to, well, he had his own stuff happening. So I am taking this Ford to my mechanic because I figured I am so cheap in it. The miles are actually pretty low. I mean, 120, well, 130. Let's see if it starts. Beautiful. And if he could figure it out and more or less like a simple fix type of deal, even if I put $500 into this thing, I'll be less than $1,000 in it. And I looked, parts for them are cheap. Like even if the car needs a new water pump, those are like 40-50 bucks, and that's higher end. You could find them for like $35. So 50 bucks for a nicer one, that's not that expensive. This thing has plenty of room to work, as in it's not all compacted, so I don't think it'll be super difficult for him to do the work. And I mean, it shifts good, it makes good power. As far as I know, the head gasket is not blown. It just has a coolant leak and you know, wasn't ran to the ground. Like the engine runs fine. There's no misfires or whatnot. Let me check. And this thing is, you know, highest trim. It's an Eddie Bauer with 4x4 and whatnot. So, could hear that slight. Man, look at that, nearly perfect. So, I'll get it loaded up, take it to my mechanic, and then I will show you guys the result. And if I was able to get this thing up on its feet and, you know, get a crazy deal, or if it was a oopsie, not the best deal. Up we go. This is always sketchy to me. Yeah, never a big fan kind of driving up like this. But there we have it. So yeah, you guys just watched me load this thing up on the trailer all by myself, all on video. So I'll strap it down, take it to my mechanic, and give you guys an update. But let me, I don't know if I showed you guys the outside of it. It's probably in a rush, like I usually am. But it seems like this is kind of broken and cracked. But yeah, look at that interior. It's actually clean. I wouldn't say, you know, for the money I'll ask for it, it doesn't even need to go through detail. Look at that. Yeah, so pretty sweet Ford, I would say.
Several days later.
I am leaving my mechanic shop, and the Ford, it runs and it doesn't make any weird sounds. So what was wrong? The water pump failed. So basically the fins, the fan, the internal metal component in the water pump was loose, and that's why it was grinding and essentially letting a whole bunch of water through. So we put a new serpentine belt, new water pump, you know, clearly new gasket for the water pump. Basically water pump job with new coolant. So now I'm driving it to the lot, temperature starting to go up. Hopefully I don't overheat. The other thing my mechanic said, it has no oil leaks, but he said that the radiator might be bad. Might. Because the coolant is kind of somewhat mixed with the oil. And then the transmission fluid is a little bit lower, so he's like, either it's transmission fluid that's going through the radiator to cool off, something along those lines. So basically what he said is drive it, go to the lot, add transmission fluid, and then drive it for a few days, see if engine oil drops or transmission fluid drops, and then we'll go from there. But aside from that, it should be more or less ready to go. Tell you what though, guys, this heater is hot. Like, wow, it is blowing hot. I don't remember last time I was in a car that the heater worked so well. So we are on the right path. I think I'll be driving this for a day or two. Hopefully, you know, no issues. But so far I did 2 miles and it's running great. Shift's good, no hiccups, no weird noises. So I think this is going to be a winner, although it was not from the get-go. But again, kind of an accidental purchase. But we're rolling with it, and it seems like this one will be a winner in the end.
Much later.
Alrighty guys, well, let's summarize the video and I guess bring it to an end. I gotta get out of the sun. Well, I want to be in the sun because it's cold out. We'll do it like this. So the Ford is back. After I picked it up from my mechanic, I drove it, did maybe 80 miles. It runs totally fine, but I couldn't find peace with potentially selling the car with an issue with the radiator. So I took it back to my mechanic, got a new radiator. He replaced the radiator, did a whole coolant system flush, because the radiator has a built-in radiator that cools the transmission, and then one that cools the engine. The one that was cooling the transmission was cracked and was basically mixing the coolant inside the radiator. So that got replaced, it was done. And I've put maybe 50-60 miles on it. After that, it runs great. There's no overheating, no issues, but you know, clearly we still have stuff like this. So this thing ain't perfect. I would say more or less kind of far from perfect. It's a 1999, but the interior is in killer shape. Paint is actually in really good shape. Typically I see these with like faded hoods, faded roofs and whatnot. This one, okay, I guess it's not far from perfect, but it's in pretty solid shape. All in, I'm $1,200 into this thing with labor, with parts, with everything else. And I paid, what, like $320 for it initially, so I definitely did put a lot of money into it. But I think it's ready to go. I actually have it listed for sale for $3,300. I am planning to be firm on that price because I think it's a good price, and with all the work that was done to it, I think it's very fair. Especially the miles, it's like 130,000 miles or so. So you guys know that essentially I'm looking for about a, what, $2,000 profit on it, roughly. Yeah, if I'm $1,200 in it, I'm trying to get 33, yeah, roughly $2,000 profit. So if it sells, then fantastic. This was a good buy, but this was a huge risk. I'm glad that it kind of turned out this way. So thank you for watching. If you made it this long, if you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing. I really appreciate your support. I'll see you guys in another video.